Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense, faced a heated Senate confirmation hearing on Tuesday. The proceedings were marked by sharp partisan divisions as Democrats raised concerns about his qualifications and personal controversies, while Republicans largely came to his defense. Now, as the debate over his nomination continues, questions linger about whether Hegseth can secure enough support for confirmation. Our next report breaks down the most striking moments of his grilling.
Pete Hegseth, President-elect Donald Trump's controversial pick for Secretary of Defense, entered his Senate confirmation hearing on Tuesday. Facing a minefield of allegations, past missteps, and questions about his fitness for the job, at the end of the day, it made one thing clear: Hegseth is in deep trouble. From accusations of sexual misconduct to flip-flopping on women in combat and unwavering loyalty to Trump, the hearing delivered a mix of fireworks and frustration. And here's how the Pentagon hopeful found himself walking a tightrope with no safety net in sight. The hearing veered into cultural minefields when freshman Senator Tim Sheehy, himself a former Navy SEAL, lobbed an incendiary question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pete, I'm actually going to ask you questions because I want to hear your answer. How many genders are there? Tough one.
Senator, there are two genders.
I know that well. I'm a Sheehy, so I'm on board.
While the Republicans found humor, Democrats found ammunition, and critics blasted the exchange as a symptom of Hegseth's tone deafness on social issues that is a key concern for someone tasked with leading a diverse, modern military. Now, for years, Hegseth has opposed women in combat roles, but on Tuesday he performed a policy pirouette.
So, what I'm confused about, Mr. Hegseth, is which is it? Why should women in our military, if you were the Secretary of Defense, believe that they would have a fair shot and an equal opportunity to rise through the ranks?
And so whether it's a man or a woman, they have to meet the same high standards. And Senator, in any place where those things have been eroded or in courses, criteria have been changed in order to meet quotas, racial quotas or gender quotas, that is putting a focus on something other than readiness, standards, meritocracy, and lethality. So that's the kind of review I'm talking about, not whether women have access to ground combat. And I would point out, I have never disparaged women serving in the military. I respect every single female service member that has put on the uniform, past and present. My critiques, Senator, recently and in the past, and from personal experience, have been instances where I've seen standards lowered.
But his transformation rang hollow with the Democrats, who noted his lack of specific examples when claiming that military standards had been watered down to accommodate quotas.
Please, do not deny that you've made those statements. You have. You will have to change how you see women to do this job well, and I don't know if you are capable of that.
For Democrats, it wasn't just about policy. It was a question about trust. Was Hegseth sincere or simply desperate to appease critics? With every shooting question, it was evident that Democrats were prepared, and they came with a litany of questions about Hegseth's past. The dark past, which had allegations of sexual misconduct, infidelity, and drunken behavior, but Hegseth had no rebuttals.
Have you led an audit of any organization, yes or no?
Senator, in both of the organizations I ran, we were always completely fiscally responsible.
Yes or no, did you lead an audit?
And the way
yes
my
or
leadership
no,
has
did you lead
been
an audit?
stated
Yes or
has
no?
been completely
What are you afraid of? You
mischaracterized.
can't answer this question. Yes or no, did you lead an audit? Do you not know this answer?
Senator,
yes
every part
no?
of my leadership
yes
of these
no?
organizations
yes
has
or
been
no, did you lead an audit?
misrepresented
I will
from
take
top
that as
to
a no.
bottom.
What were the findings? So there were no findings because you've never led an audit. What guidance did you give the auditors? None, because you've never led an audit.
Yet Hegseth deflected time and again and dismissed them as anonymous smears.
I'm just asking for true or false questions, true or false answers. An event in North Carolina, drunk in front of 3 young female staff members after you had instituted a no alcohol policy and then reversed it. True or false?
Anonymous smears.
from praising the president-elect's vote tally to deflecting questions about illegal orders like invading Greenland. Hegseth positioned himself as Trump's unwavering defender.
As the Secretary of Defense, you will be the one man standing in the breach should President Trump give an illegal order, right? I'm not saying he will, but if he does, you are going to be the guy that he calls to implement this order. Do you agree that there are some orders that can be given by the Commander-in-Chief that would violate the U.S. Constitution?
Senator, thank you for your service. But I reject the premise that President Trump is going to be giving illegal orders.
Even personal scandals like a settled sexual assault claim and admitted infidelity were reframed as evidence of his religious faith.
You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
Hearts of heart, Hegseth knew he couldn't back down. While he somehow held his ground, he admitted his lack of Pentagon-level experience, portraying it as a strength.
Mr. Hegseth, I do not believe that you are qualified to meet the overwhelming demands of this job. We must acknowledge the concerning public reports against you.
I'm not a perfect person, as has been acknowledged. Saved by the grace of God, by Jesus and Jenny. I'm not a perfect person, but redemption is real. And God forged me in ways that I know I'm prepared for. And I'm honored by the people standing and sitting behind me, and look forward to leading this Pentagon on behalf of the warfighters.
And as the hearing ended, Hegseth was bruised. Republicans rallied around him, brushing off concerns as partisan sniping, while Democrats vowed to fight his confirmation. With the GOP holding a razor-thin majority in the Senate, Hegseth can afford no more than 3 defections if Democrats and independents unite against him. Will the Republican firewall hold, or will Hegseth's troubled past prove too much for the Pentagon to overlook?
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.